to week 1 recap of the Dynasty League. I assume you're really cold? You are?
Yes.
Yeah.
This isn't frickin' baseball weather.
It's not. That is very true. So what we are going to do is we are going to recap all the matchups, talk about who was good, who was bad, who sucked. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm hot.
Oh, now you're hot? Okay. That'll be the first time in his life.
My team's not, but
Yeah.
shh. Week 1.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're going to all matchups in week 1. First matchup we are going to talk about is...
Probably yours. Why don't you give us a first-hand recap of your matchup?
5 Swords with the 11-5 victory over Bear Bashers. What?
Okay, I'm just
Oh, you
waiting
want
on
me?
it.
What? We coached well, but the players didn't play well. How about that?
Is that your excuse?
No, it's no excuse. No excuses. No excuses.
I think you two got very lucky. I know 5 Swords doesn't want to hear this either, but if you were playing anybody else in week 1, you would not be in first place. By the way, congratulations on being in first place, standings-wise, after week 1.
Yeah, congratulations.
I hope he took a screenshot of it, because it's not going to last.
See, look. See? Just
not going to last.
remember this 5 Swords, because I'm the one who always gets yelled at from you. Like, you talk all the smack.
Here's the
He's the one who always
difference,
says things.
though.
I don't
I'm not
understand.
talking smack. You talk smack.
Oh, okay.
I'm giving facts.
Mhm.
You guys had, by Roto stats, the 7th and
8th.
7th and 9th worst total team production.
Okay, well then what?
Shh. Let me talk. In week 1.
Mm-hmm.
In week 1, 7 and 9. So,
Yeah.
like I said, thus supporting my original statement with data,
Uh-huh.
he played the next to last worst guy.
Well, your original
Statistically.
statement was that if you played anybody else, you wouldn't be in first place. Well, that's not true, because obviously there was somebody who was 10th Verto stats that was worse, and there was also someone who was 8th that was stats were just as bad. So I don't understand why you're saying...
No, you were 9th.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So there was only one.
Right.
Yes, if he would have played Zips,
Right.
he would be running away with the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, continue. Do you have any other insight into your matchup?
I don't know. I don't know. You can use your opinion. I hated the long matchup. I don't like that at all. I never want to do that again. Can we not do that again?
You need to write to Major League Baseball and tell them not to do that then.
No. I mean, you can't change, like, have a 4-day week instead of an 11-day week one for Yahoo? That's what I'm asking. You can't change the settings for
That's
that?
a Yahoo thing.
See, I don't know.
Yahoo!
Would you like that? I don't know. I think it's
It is
too
what
long.
it is.
I think it's too long.
It was long.
Isn't
Isn't that the same thing as what they did for the All-Star break now? Where they made it a week and a half?
Did they? Do they?
I thought that's what we did last year, is that they extended it to the weekend and then the next week.
Maybe. But a lot of close categories in
Okay.
this. Wins and losses were tied both ways. WHIP was 121 to 127. I mean,
That's close.
ERA 328 to 373. Yeah, I mean that's
half a run.
Right.
I don't think that's close.
Mhm. Well, see,
Some people in my family think that that's still close. I think half a run's ridiculous.
well, there you go though. To support the total base argument, my ERA was 328.
Okay.
I won ERA as he had 373. Total bases I had 142 and he had 124. So I lost total bases. Innings were basically even, 104 to 103. So there you go. Total bases in this particular matchup meant absolutely nothing because the guy that won ERA and WHIP lost total bases.
I do have statistical data on week 1 for that too, but apparently I didn't bring that down, so I'll save that for after.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that was the first matchup, but as you can see over here by the guy in the igloo outfit, that
Definitely not dressed like an igloo.
yeah, people that like live in igloos.
You mean an Eskimo?
An Eskimo? Is that better?
Yes, an igloo is what
I was
they
trying
live
to be racially sensitive. You know, I didn't want to say
racially
that.
sensitive.
Yeah.
By by calling me a house.
Yeah, exactly. I said that you should live in a house because of the way you're dressed. That's all I said. Okay.
No, you said I was dressed like an igloo.
Next matchup, Alaska Glaciers 12 v 7.
I ran into the second best team statistically roto-wise for week 1. It was tough. There was a lot that I couldn't do. When you have the names and they don't produce, it's simple. I'm not making excuses. He won the matchup. My guys didn't hit. I lost a ton of offensive categories. He was okay pitching wise. Don't let the numbers fool you. He did not have the best pitching staff that week. Offensively, he had the second best offense though of anybody in the league. So that's fine. I'm not crying about stuff over here. You're not going to hear me talk about injuries. You're not going to hear me talk about Joey Votto being 3 for 33 or Paul Goldschmidt in the humidor or Mike Trout or anything like that. No, hold on. You're not going to hear me complain. He had a very good week. I'm okay with where I'm at in the standings. I'm not worried like some other people in this room are, but it's okay. No, go ahead. Shazam!
Yeah.
He's worried.
Well, we're not talking about me right now. We'll talk about that later.
Well, just like Globo says, it's always about him.
No,
always
is that really how it is? No, I think that it surprised me that your team only hit 260, but just like you said, I mean, that's...
And 3 guys
Right.
that were nothing all week, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Not panicking.
At least your total bases seemed like it was a decent read there. Because you had the lower ERA and you had lower total bases. I feel like that's what.
Okay, so why don't we do this? If it's going to keep coming up, why don't you start talking about the next matchup?
Okay.
And I'll be right back. It'll be looking split.
All right.
Next matchup.
Next matchup. Team Joe Boo with a 10-5 win over All Rise. Actually, a lot of these categories were very, very close. Home runs 11-9 for All Rise. RBIs, he only won by 6. All Rise 49-43 for Team Joe Boo. Batting average was 265 to 255. Joe Boo with the win on that, and on base percentage 347 to 337. So there you go. You only have 0.10 differential in between average and on base percentage. A lot of close categories.
What is this? Team Joe Boo and All Rise?
Yeah, the offensive categories were very, very close. They really were the whole way through. I mean,
Which is surprising because
runs 50 to 49. I mean, look at that. Everything was really close.
All Rise had the 8th worst fantasy production in week 1. Team Joe Boo was in the middle of the pack at number 5, surprisingly.
But that doesn't read that way when you actually look at the matchup.
That's because All Rise had a very good offensive week and had a very, very poor pitching. Yes.
Yeah.
His pitching was number 9 for the league for the week as far as numbers go.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, so what I did was ERA, total bases and innings pitched for week 1. And again, I'm not getting carried away with it yet because it's week 1. And as like this guy said, it was a very long week 1 too. So some things happen that don't normally happen. But there is a direct correlation to the fewer innings pitched people threw, the lower their total bases were, and the lower their ERA was. The only exception that skewed the data would have been bench champions, who had the 3rd fewest innings pitched, had the 5th most total bases, but had the worst ERA.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only outlier to it. Everything else runs parallel. Everybody that was low in innings pitched was also low in total bases and ERA. Mm-hmm. Everybody that pitched a lot of innings had higher ERAs and the higher total bases totals.
Mm-hmm. Except for my matchup, which I already told you was the opposite of what you just said.
He was 7th in innings pitched, and he was 4th in total bases, and he was 8th in ERA.
Yeah.
And you were See, but you were 8th innings pitched, so you threw the 8th most innings.
Yeah, but there's an inning differential.
Correct. But I'm saying, correct. And if you would take these groupings, so in other words, there's a large group of us that threw anywhere from 95 to 106 innings.
Mm-hmm.
So that grouping is also the same grouping that's in the middle of the total bases totals, because those numbers are also not off by that many as well.
Mm-hmm.
It goes all the way from 123 to 146, which is only a difference of 23 total bases.
Yeah.
And then if you do the ERA, it's the same thing. Mr. Five Swords is at 373, but if I go all the way back here, I still have 320s, 320s, 340s, 350s.
Mm-hmm.
So it is correlating together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there are a few anomalies, but it seems to be holding true. You throw fewer innings, your ERA is going to be low, and your total bases are going to be low.
And again, I just know this from talking to you yesterday, that some people may not realize that walks do not affect total bases.
Which is weird, but
So that is how,
it's strictly based on the hits.
right, that is how Ben's Champions worked out that way, because he had a lot of walks, I would imagine.
He had a lot of walks, which is why his total bases were low, but
Right.
he was giving up. But see, here's where I still don't get it. To give up runs, you've got to be giving up hits. Guys have to be on base, right?
Walks. Right, it's the same diff.
Yeah.
If they're
It's
walking,
true.
they're
And
gonna...
you can still score guys from singles. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to
interesting.
be home runs. I mean, you can
Correct.
score other ways.
There are other ways to score.
Yeah,
Yes.
so...
Interesting.
Yeah, so it had to do with the walks. That's how... So basically, I guess what we're trying to say is that you should hope that your pitchers walk more as opposed to giving up hits. Especially home runs, because that's really what will kill you.
Well, but walks hurt your whip.
It does.
I don't have any whip data.
Well, you don't really need any whip data. But anyway, overall, the Team Jobu All Rise matchup was very close despite the score. Very, very even categories all the way through. Next, Ben's Champions with an 11-7 win over Zips. Now, I'm interested in Ben's Champions here. What was his roto standings there?
He would have finished 3rd overall.
Okay.
He had the best offense of the week
Mm-hmm.
and the worst pitching.
Okay.
So first and worst, just like last year.
Okay. So I guess that's why you could say, because you would think that, because you've already stated that Zips had the worst, right?
Well, which is why I'm actually surprised the score was as close as it was.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, 11-7 is a pretty close score considering you got one guy as the worst roto week. And, I mean, yeah, Ben's Champions had great hitting, but apparently pretty poor pitching.
Yes, but that is his staple. So
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Zips is 230 batting average. I would assume that's the worst, right?
average, yes, he had
Yeah.
the worst average of the week.
Right.
You had the second worst.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, a 4.35 ERA and a 1.35 WHIP. Those are pretty low, I would imagine too. Especially considering all the cold weather. It seemed like offense was sort of down overall.
Ben's Champions was either last or next to last in almost every pitching category except wins and losses.
What? Wow.
He had a lot of wins and a lot of losses.
Yeah, 7 wins and 3 losses, which is pretty good considering the ERA and WHIP was that poor. So could we say?
I'm sorry, he had a lot of wins and not a lot of losses.
Yeah.
Right?
7 wins, 3 losses. I
Yes.
know what you
Thank
meant. So could we say that Ben's Champions was rather fortunate for this week? He played the worst roto guy, and he had really poor pitching stats, but still managed 7-3, which won the wins and losses category.
Right.
So I would say that, per the data, that it was a fortunate week for Ben's Champions.
I wouldn't dispute that.
Yes. But that's okay. It's just 1 week. There's still, 20 to go, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then the last matchup. Globo Gym won 12-6, but we don't care about Globo Gym, right? So we don't even need to talk about it.
Globo Gym was the number 1 roto team for week 1. And actually, another matchup that the stats lie in a certain extent. The fact that 2298 or whatever his numbers are only got 6 points is interesting because he had the 4th best roto stats for the week.
Yeah, those pitching stats are really good. 104 WHIP. I mean, you
He
get a 1
had
and 4 whip, you usually win
the-
with. But he only had 2 quality starts. See that? It's interesting.
Yes. 99-44 he had the 4th best pitching stats for the week.
66-44 for those of you at home. 66-44.
Sure. So, but I mean, let's not take anything away from Globo Gym.
Yeah.
He had a great week 1. He obviously with the number 1 roto stats would have beaten anyone in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You could look at it. He could say he was unfortunate that he played, 22-64 in that
66-44.
in that, had he not had, such a great pitching week, maybe his score would have been better. Or if he plays Zips.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting matchup I would have liked to have seen the numbers go up against. What would Globo Gym's score have been against Ben's Champions because of the offensive prowess? Would Globo Gym have taken some of those categories away from Ben's Champions?
Yeah.
Because he obviously would have swept almost every pitching category.
He would have. I'm looking at it right now.
So it's interesting. Again, I know we don't like roto stats, and we get the,
Right.
well, I would manage my team differently if I was doing this and that. Correct, you would. But you can say that about head-to-head stats.
Yeah.
You would manage your team differently if you were doing this and that differently. I'm just saying for what the numbers show, what you did.
Could we talk about the what would be the franchise record of 16 saves in a week? I'm sure that's never happened before. There's no way.
I cannot confirm nor can I dispute whether that is an actual franchise league record. I thought there was a spot to look at that on the website.
Oh yeah, there was, wasn't there? I remember that now. I wonder where that was. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. But I believe that if
I don't know if it's actually on.
you might not be able to do it from your phone. You might actually need the computer. But I don't know.
Yes, but wouldn't that be something on? We're not going to waste time looking it up right now, but let's keep it going.
Okay.
I'll just see if I can quickly.
So yeah,
find
it
something.
was 12-6. Globo Gym won with 66-44, but 66-44 had a really good pitching week.
Record book.
Oh, there it is. He's found the record book.
Boom! Doubles, triples, homers, runs batted in, batting average. Oh, wait, that's only hitting.
So you gotta go to pitching. So yeah, 12-6. Globo won. It was a.
I was impressed by it. Yes, that would be a record. Single week, all time. However, that doesn't say who he beat. Yes. Single week, all time for the season. 66-44, 16 saves.
So his name is in the record book, perhaps forever.
His name is also in the record books as far as all-time saves for a season at 162 when they were formerly known as the Meeps.
Wow.
Meeps.
The Meeps. That was great.
That was a great team in 2015.
Yes, it was. All right, well, I think we covered all the matchups. Are you ready to do power rankings?
Oh, we're skipping right to power rankings?
Is that how we
fast?
should do it, or do you want to do something else first?
Were there any trades that needed any discussion?
Trades?
In week 1, there were trades.
Was there?
There were trades.
I know there was a lot of free agent moves, which I really didn't want to get into because I felt like it was a busier first 2 weeks in the history of the
We had
league.
one trade. No, that was during this week, though.
Oh.
So we can't talk about
So
it.
that's for next week.
Yes.
All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was a blockbuster trade, by the way.
It was.
Yeah. So.
So we're pretty much done. Is there any other thing you want to talk about? I thought you wanted to go on a rant about a text message you got this week.
Well, maybe I just misconstrued what it said. What, you don't like?
Misunderstood?
I don't think misconstrued is a word.
No, it is. It's not used correctly in that context.
All right.
Misunderstood.
Yeah, because let me read the text thread.
Reading.
All right. Today at 5:04 a.m. Okay. Elvis Andrews, potential small fracture of elbow. What a year for injuries. Replay of NFL season.
Let's change that. It's not potential. It's official.
Okay, it's official.
It's fractured.
That was at 5:04, and then at the same. Well, it was 10 minutes later. It was 10 minutes later. I figured that it in Ben's Champions, it kind of, he thought about it in his head, and he was like, just like stock market years, baseball seasons have a change in character from year to year. What works in one often doesn't the next. It's very early, but there are a few clues early on about this season. Share more thoughts later in the day. So, I took that as a personal attack on my team because now I have basically my 3 best offensive players are now DL'd. Okay? So I thought what he was saying is that you can't do the same thing every year and expect the same results. Now, maybe Kamish doesn't agree with it. That he was even talking about me. So I don't know.
I don't think he was. And here's the other thing. Even if he was, he's never going to admit to it either because he just talks in generalities. That way he can get out of, directly attacking someone. I think you did read a little bit too much into it. I think what he's trying to say is typical, you need to change your strategies. You have to change just like the weather changes all the time. You need to change as well. Mm-hmm. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you shouldn't be mad when you don't win.
I guess. But then shouldn't he be talking about himself? Because he's been doing the same thing for the last 5 years.
Well, that's what is ironic about his statements about that. Because you've been doing the same, I'm going to load up on offense and have poo-poo pitching for how many years now? And it's
5.
What gotten you what?
Yeah. Well, he had 3 years where he didn't make the playoffs. He finally made the playoffs last year.
And was a one and done.
One and done, yeah. So.
But he made the playoffs.
He did.
5 swords. He made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He did.
Any other big surprises from matchups that you were surprised with, score-wise?
Not really, but there's a couple of notes that we'll talk about in our power rankings.
Is it going to skew your rankings? So here's the question: are your rankings going to be reflective of the standings?
As always, a little bit.
Interesting.
It all goes into a big pot. You stir it up, and then you see what you come out with.
So even though Zips had the worst stats of every team in the league, you still think they're the 6th best team?
No.
Okay.
No.
Shh! Don't give anything away.
Well, but see, you have to remember what my preseason rankings were. I didn't like Zips. Everybody, I was down on Zips before the season started.
Right,
But
okay.
Well, I was.
You do your rankings the way you want. My preseason rankings are strictly based on paper.
We're doing the top 6. That's all we're doing, right?
That's all we do for power.
Okay,
rankings.
I was gonna say. So we're just doing what we would think that the playoff
cranky.
teams are right now.
He's cranky today.
You're cranky. Okay, after doing some research, we're not going to do power rankings yet because we realize that there are many records that were set this week.
So apparently we don't give enough love out there to our viewers or our league members. So we're going to take
both of you.
Yes. We're going to take this opportunity to acknowledge some historic feats that were accomplished.
In week 1. These are all-time records. This is the history of the league.
Yes.
So this isn't just this year, which would be pretty stupid because it's only been 1 week long. This is forever.
So congratulations to all the teams that set records. Good job.
Yes.
Except for Alaska Glaciers, because some of these are against me.
Okay.
So the first one is Alaska Glaciers with runs in a week.
Most runs in a week ever in the history of our league.
For 1 week.
For 1 week. Even though it's a long week, so it's kind of cheating, but that doesn't matter.
He tied it with 69.
69 runs scored.
He tied the record, which was actually set last year by Globo Gym, at 69.
So tied the record is actually what it was.
Tied. Sorry, yes, he did tie.
Tie the record.
We also had another tie.
Another tie.
Ben's Champions.
Ben's Champions, the offensive juggernaut.
Doubles. 30 in 1 week. He tied, blast from the past, Cobra Kai from 2013 with 30 doubles in a week.
Wow. 30 doubles.
Now, the next one we were kind of debating whether or not it's true or not. This is the pitching one.
Yeah, I don't think this is
We find this hard to believe.
It's not real.
Fewest losses in a matchup in a week.
Yeah. And obviously Globo Gym had 0.
He had 0. So according to the record book, that's never happened before in the history of our league.
And my take on it is that it's happened so many times it can't list all the people that it's happened to. And that's why
It says single season, single week, all time. Globo Gym is the only one to have done that. I just find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
So we don't believe that, but congratulations for setting the record if it does hold true. Our next accomplishment is saves in a week by
66-44
with 16 saves.
Right, and we talked about that in the, in the
matchup.
In the matchups.
Yes, we just didn't actually realize that we were breaking records.
Okay.
Another popular category, holds.
A new record in holds.
Alaska Glaciers with 11.
Wow, 11.
Again, bad job against me again. Bad job. Now, for the new categories, obviously this is going to be silly, but...
Yeah, but we'll keep up with it every week, see who has the most.
So, fewest total bases allowed in a week currently goes to...
Dun 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 dun. Globo Gym.
With 87. That is the new mark to beat.
87.
And on the flip side of that, the worst total bases allowed in the history of total bases is...
All Rise.
With 185. I'm going to tell you right now...
That's a big differential.
I think 185 is going to be tough to beat. That's
yeah, because of the long week. I mean, I guess we might have another long week All-Star break. That's probably
Possibly.
the only other time it could
Potentially.
get beat this year.
And probably the only time in this video that you're going to get love, at least for me, 5 Swords, you are the record holder in quality starts.
Yep. 8 quality starts for 5 Swords.
So for you guys that set records in week 1,
congratulations. Yeah. All right. So now we will do power rankings for real. That's what we will do. Okay, now it's time for the power rankings. Are you stoked? Are you excited to do this?
If it gets warmer.
What's not my fault? It's a freaking frozen tundra here in your basement. Lord.
I wanted it to be just like the baseball season.
I know. I guess so. All right. So your number 6 team that would make the playoffs if the playoffs started in week 1 is Bear Bashers.
Just kidding. April Fools.
All right. Number 6 is Team V. The at number 6.
The defending champ. The winner of 3 of the last 4
Oh
championships.
my gosh, who cares? Stop living in last year. It doesn't. It's immaterial.
Hey, according to the godfather of the text thread, until this season's over, I'm still the champion.
Is that
Respect.
okay? Well, anyway.
Okay, LeBron.
All right. Well, my number 6, after performing much better than I anticipated in week 1, Team Jobu is my number 6 currently.
Interesting. Jobu did make my top 6.
Oh, did he? Wow, you have him that high.
Number 5
Number 5.
is Team Jobu.
Wow.
Statistically, he had the most consistent roto stats compared to the league. He was 50-50 for hitting and pitching, which put him 5th roto category-wise. Team Jobu is my number 5 team.
All right. My number 5, 5 Swords. What? Why?
We'll see. Interesting.
Yeah.
Explanation.
Explanation is that I thought going into the season that his biggest Achilles heel, if you will, would be his pitching, and his pitching was better than I anticipated. So that's why.
So he beat you in pitching categories. Is what
Some
you're
of them.
Yeah.
I mean, not all of them, no, but a few.
saying. He had the 3rd best pitching stats for the week.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If he can continue that, and I don't think he can, but we can't go by what we think is going to happen.
Thank you.
The way it is right now, if he can continue having the 3rd best pitching staff in the week, this is where he'd end up. So, there you go. That is my number 5, 5 Swords.
My number 4.
Number 4. 6644.
Is that what there is? There 6644. I'm the stat guy. He's the make it up as you go guy.
Oh, don't say that. That's ridiculous.
Anyways, he roto statistically was the 4th best team in the league, but he played the 1st best team. So just because he's 0-1 on the season head to head, I don't think that's a reflection of how well his team actually performed.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Take that.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. My number 4 is Team V. I think he's a victim of some slow starts.
Wow.
And that'll...
Guy's a little bullish on Team V. Perhaps sucking up
Well,
like he always does.
I don't see why I do that.
My number 3.
Number 3.
I hate to rank him this high.
Yeah.
BC.
Yep, my number 3 is also the same.
Before Christ, there was Ben's Champions.
So,
Again, you're loaded on offense. You're horrible on pitching. I don't think it's a consistent formula. You've proven that it's not a winning formula.
yeah.
So, yes, it will get you through the regular season because you only need to finish in the top 6.
Well, he'll say that he always thinks that he improves on the pitching as the season progresses. That's what he thinks.
Okay.
But I mean, I had him at number 3 because again, if you can continue to have the top offensive team every week,
Yep.
that's about where you're going to end up. Because you'll be able to steal some pitching categories every now and then.
Yes, as long as he he can have bad pitching, but
Right.
with the new categories, as long as he keeps
That's
his minimum
true.
innings down, he'll be
I
able to
know.
add an extra point.
That is true. He might be.
So here's the interesting one. I'm potentially forecasting we have both brothers left over for numbers 1 and 2.
Well, I mean, you talk for yourself. You don't know who I have.
Well, if you don't have both brothers left at 1 or 2, that really shows how bad you are, and we might actually get some.
All right.
My number 2 is my
Number
opponent,
2.
Alaska Glaciers.
Mhm.
Strong week. I think his offense overperformed, though. I cannot see his offense performing as well as it did, even though statistically it was the second best offense in the Roto Week. I just can't look at that offense and say that's the second best offense in the league.
Okay, that is your opinion. Mine differs. As my number 2 is Globo Gym in 3D.
Perhaps setting up your newest rival for scheduling.
I guess. Why would that be my newest rival?
Well, I don't understand the guy that statistically had the best week of every team.
Well, what did I do in my preseason rankings? Who did I rank number 1?
I don't care about your preseason rankings.
Well, I'm just telling you. I still believe that my number 1 is Alaska Glaciers, and it's not changing because I still think that, even though his opinion is that his offense can't continue that, I think it can. I think he has a top 2, 3 offense.
So you've followed up statements of you don't think my team is as bad as it is to you think Alaska Glaciers is going to continue to perform as good as it is, and he barely beat me in some of the statistical categories.
Yeah, and I had you number 4. What's wrong with that?
Interesting.
It's not like I had you like at 10 or something.
I look at numbers, and you had the best offense, the best pitching for the week. To me, that makes you the number 1 team. I don't care by how much you won by. That sometimes skews data by looking at what the matchup score was. If I look at your stats, you were the best team, Globo Gym.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
That's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
It's not an opinion. That's
No, it's your opinion that he is the best team right now.
No. I actually have it right here on paper.
Uh-huh.
See, he had the best hitting, the best pitching that made him the number 1 team statistically. That's why he's number 1.
But couldn't we say that Roto stats are not the end-all be-all of every decision that you need to make? Because perhaps there's other GMs who would have better offensive categories, but they were too busy worrying about their pitching, or vice versa, because they were playing the matchup.
No.
Yes, you can. You absolutely can. But
Yeah.
with ads and free agents, yes, you can. You would be like, hey, I'm losing in wins right now, so I need to pick up another pitcher,
So
as
you
opposed
think,
to picking up another
So
offensive
let me
bat.
throw a wrench into that theory. So you think 99-77 when he was playing?
I don't know who that is, by the way.
Didn't think that, hey, I already have 13 saves, which is more than anyone in the whole league has. I don't really need to throw closers anymore. I should start going after holds. But he didn't. He still kept his closers, didn't pick up holds guys,
Exactly.
and wound up with 16 saves.
Right.
So your theory as to people play their matchups differently? No, they don't.
It depends. It depends on what you're talking
Oh,
about.
it depends. Now
Here's the deal, Justin
Now we're
Pro-
wearing diapers. Now we're wearing diapers.
Here's the deal. 66-44 probably thought that I can at least get good ERA and WHIP out of closers who are hot right now. So why am I going to bench him and try to pick up holds guys who are going to get lit up and affect that, especially as close as ERA and WHIP was? I mean, the dude had a 104 WHIP and still lost WHIP. So I mean, I understand that strategy completely. Not to mention, maybe he wants to save some transactions, even though
By the way, he
never
had
hit
the
that high.
third best whip for the week. It wasn't even the second, so
Okay,
he
but
would have
still
lost
really
that.
good.
It is, but he would have lost that category to someone else too, not just Globo Gym.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll have this.
That is correct. So once again, as you can see, we do have differing opinions, as always. Some of us use stats and logic. Some of us use whatever. As you had 2 teams in your top 6 that did not win in their first week matchups in your power rankings.
Didn't you?
I didn't. No.
You had yourself in. So you act like it was a big difference. The way you give stats sometimes is a joke.
But I use stats. I do use stats. At least I use stats.
I guess.
Biggest surprise from my Power 6 that you thought?
The biggest surprise for your Power 6?
You know, I did not have 5 swords in my Power 6.
No, it doesn't surprise me. I knew you wouldn't care.
Right.
I mean, I think the biggest surprise...
Yes, when you beat the team that had the 9th best roto stats in the week, that doesn't do anything.
See, again, no, it's not all about that. For some reason, I even like roto stats more than most, I would say. But you're on another level. This is something brand new for you. You didn't do this every other power ranking that we had last year.
Well, no, because power rankings in the past, we had more other data and information to use. This is week 1. This is all I have is how we perform.
I know.
I'm not going by preseason rankings, which are based on,
Right.
here's how my roster
So
looks
basically-
on a piece of paper.
Right, so basically right now what you're doing is that you come in here dressed like a freaking Eskimo, and then you say, oh, well, it's really cold, so I don't know how much we can value the stats. And then you're like, oh, well, the reason why this guy's ranked number 2 is because he was the second best roto guy. Who cares if it's 28 degrees at every single game that the dude that he's got his guys playing at? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're so...
No, you
so
just made
frustrated.
By the way, that was one of the worst arguments you've
How is that an
ever made.
argument? If
You're
somebody
right.
has...
You're right. It wasn't an argument
What do you-
because I'm not going to respond to it because it was so
If you
bad.
have guys here who are playing outside in these horrible conditions,
Aren't all of them?
Do you think right
Aren't
now,
all of them, or is it just 1 or 2 teams that had that?
as of Saturday, now this is a couple days ago now, but as of Saturday, Cleveland had a team batting average of 167. That's after like 9 or 10 games.
Okay.
Do you think they're going to hit 167 all year long? No, of course not. And that's what I'm saying with this. I mean, you're putting way too much into roto stats that don't matter yet. You have to have more of a collective, view of more stats than just say, oh, well, this is how it was in the week 1. This is what I'm going to go by. So
I base my
can-
my rankings on week to week results, not on what I think about.
I dropped myself out of it. I mean, like.
I'd hope so.
Well, I'm just saying.
You were the 9th best team in week 1.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm just saying, it's like you act like.
Is it fine if you're a GM and you just said you were the 9th best team and you just said that's fine?
Hey.
You're okay with that?
There's nothing you could do. What do you want me to do?
Win.
Well, hey, like you sit there and say, I'm not going to make excuses. Well, dude,
I'm not making excuses.
when your whole team's on the DL, what are you supposed to do? You can't just be like have some kind of magic trick to make them all appear healthy. It doesn't work. You could do the best you can. I already know what strategy I'm going to use, and that's what I'm going to go with.
It'll work for me. Ian Kinsler.
Yes, Ian Kinsler is starting today.
Whoa!
What?
No, he's not. He's on the DL.
Yeah, he's still in the DL, but they're going to activate him before the game starts.
It's because I snapped my fingers.
I know.
It's because I snapped my fingers.
Right. All right. Well, that's enough of all this gibberish. So next week we will talk more. Apparently, are you going to do this next week when we do the power rankings, or are you gonna like sit here and write all of the roto stats from week 2?
I'm not telling you anything. Okay. At least I'm doing prep work.
I do prep work because I watch the games.
He watches
the prep
Major
work that I
League
do.
games. He doesn't watch the matchups. That's his prep work.
Yeah.